Hello and welcome back to Swinging at Shins. Normally a Premier League podcast, but currently and for at least another week, a World Cup podcast. I am Rhett and I'm joined as always by Aaron Slater. Aaron, how you doing?
And I can't really complain. It's been a decent day.
Yeah. I think I got sickness number 2, so I don't know about fully decent, but we're doing all right.
That's icky. I hope you feel better. Recover.
Yeah, me too. Christmas is more like sickness this year, but we'll get over it. All right. Before we get into the semifinal predictions, a little bit of roundup. Story broke this morning about Gio Reyna and Greg Berhalter. It started off not being about Gio Reyna, except for kind of being about Gio Reyna. And then it was definitely about Gio Reyna, and then Gio Reyna responded to it. So anyway, let's start off with the quote. Greg Berhalter said that he had a player that was clearly not meeting expectations on and off the field. One of 26 players, so it stood out. As a staff, we sat together for hours deliberating what we were going to do with this player. We were ready to book a plane ticket home. That's how extreme it was. I want to add a little bit to that quote. He went on to say that he let the team leadership handle it as opposed to himself, which I thought was a good move because he clearly wasn't the right person to make that decision, that disciplinary action, which we'll get into why in a minute. But first of all, when that quote hit, what did you make of it?
Well, he made it obvious without making it obvious. I want to side with the player, but there's also just so many layers to this thing that it's just initial reaction was okay. We're gonna just take it for a word, I guess. We're gonna take it how it is. Let's see what happens.
One thing I think that got lost, everyone talked about, oh, here he is. He's clearly talking about Reyna. He's making excuses for Reyna. This wasn't to a reporter. He didn't go on Instagram and start complaining. This was an answer to a question to Charter Works on leadership that he was asked. And he gave a very honest answer. And at that point, from Berhalter's point of view, I just got back from the World Cup. It's fresh in my mind. This thing just happened. At one point, it looked like this player was never going to play. Instead of trying to handle it myself, I let team leadership handle it. And this player eventually did get minutes in said World Cup. From a leadership point of view, which is the way he was answering the question, I think the quote made a lot of sense. The problem was it was so obviously about Reyna, who we talked plenty of times in this podcast of why aren't you starting, why aren't you starting, why aren't you starting, that everyone just ran off with, oh my God, Reyna was horrible. Reyna almost got sent home. Reyna and Berhalter are never going to be able to work together. Which then leads to get rid of Berhalter because we need Reyna. And then it spirals out of control when everything's still very fresh.
Yeah. I went down that rabbit hole. I went down that spin. And then I was like, hold on, let's just pump the brakes and see what comes out.
To do. And the other problem, and this is the other reason why I'm not siding with anyone because I don't see the point being on the side. This is just things that happen and it's coming out. Multiple players came out anonymously, but players came out and spoke to The Athletic and were like, Reyna was a problem. And at one point, Aaron Long and Deandre Yedlin pulled him aside and talked to him. This is being reported on in The Athletic. So this isn't just Berhalter saying, well, I had a guy who wasn't up to snuff and he wasn't doing what I wanted to do. He had an attitude problem. And if you have an attitude problem and you're supposed to be one of the best players and you don't start because of your attitude problem, then the coach has every reason to defend himself when everyone's saying, what the hell, Berhalter, why didn't you start him? Now, that was my opinion on this at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
A little after that, Mr. Reyna comes out, and the plot thickens a little bit more. I am not going to read the whole thing. The whole thing's on his Instagram, but the gist of the whole thing was he is upset because he believed it was going to remain private, and it didn't. Again, Berhalter never said his name. Everyone can infer it. Everyone may have heard it, but he never said his name. He said, I had a problem with a player.
Yep.
Other players came out and said Reyna's name anonymously, but Berhalter never said his name. But the interesting thing is in the second paragraph, when he said, just before the World Cup, Coach Berhalter told me that my role in the tournament would be very limited.
That's where it really hurt, too. I was like, are you blind? Like, he's one of the best players we have, and you're just going to make him as a limited service. I don't know if his attitude was before, if he had attitude before that had come out, that statement.
Which is interesting that you bring up, because Jude Bellingham is on record as saying that Reyna is, quote, not a morning person, but he makes up for it by being very good in training. Sounds like a lot of things we used to hear a certain Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang get away with.
Yep.
Who, has an attitude problem. Again, we weren't there. We don't know. We're getting all this information. However, he shows up. Berhalter's deciding he's going to go with a 9. We've talked this to death on this podcast. We've talked this to death on our Wicked Good Sports clips. There's no reason to bring it up. He's going to go with a number 9. Timmy Way's starting on the right side. Pulisic is starting on the left. Reyna, there's not a starting position for you. Your job as a professional football player in the World Cup is to earn that position back.
Yep.
Or if nothing else, make sure you play 40 minutes a match. And instead, as the reports say, he threw his shin guards after not being subbed on against the Wales team and wouldn't run in practice.
If I was the coach, I'd have a problem with that too.
I think it's one of those, everyone wasn't in the right. However, whether we like it or not, this is Berhalter's show.
Yep.
It's like that line from Moneyball. I think you guys are all forgetting that he's the guy, and the only one he has to answer to is management and God. Berhalter's the guy. The only guy he has to answer to is the board of directors and God. Everyone else has to get in under him. They have to listen to him. It doesn't matter, which we're going to talk about, because there's a team in the semifinals right now that has clearly bought into everything their coach is saying. In fact, I'd argue that there are 2. That's what wins you games. Yep. So anyway, on to actual football and less of the drama that is the U.S. men's national team. We have World Cup semifinals to get into.
Let's go.
First up, Argentina and Croatia. Man, am I excited for this one.
Me too.
I'm going to let you take this one away. You've been doing a ton of research on it.
Yep. So these two have met recently in the last World Cup in group play. Croatia had the better of those guys, of Argentina. They beat them 3-0. And I look back at both those teams in that World Cup, and I could see why Croatia actually won. They were better quality, to be honest. Argentina was starting Willy Caballero. I did not misspeak. And now they're starting Emi Martinez.
Yeah.
It's a total difference here. Even in the squad for Argentina, it's much better depth-wise, and I think it's a totally revamped team. I don't expect the same results at all.
And one thing I added to this, Croatia won all 3 of their group stage matches. They were on fire to start 2018 World Cup. Obviously, they made it all the way to the finals.
Yeah.
Argentina couldn't even get past Iceland. Talk about 2 teams in very different forms on very different trajectories. Those were now in the semifinals. Those are not the same teams.
No, not at all. So I don't expect the same kind of result at where Croatia wins. Croatia can win. I'm just not saying it's going to be a 3-0 defeat.
I agree.
they get match official Daniel Orasato from Serie A. He's already reffed one of the Argentina games with Mexico as the opponent. He was also the opener for the World Cup too. He had done the Ecuador-Qatar game. But I don't think we'll see the same problems as far as reffing here.
Yeah, you always pay attention and have a little bit better input on refs than I do. I mostly think all refs are just awful human beings. Like me and umpires, man. Umpires, I don't like any of them. And I'm sorry, and I know that's not right, and I don't take to Twitter and bitch about them. People ask me my opinion. My opinion is the same on all of them. One thing I think is going to be interesting with this Argentina-Croatia game. Argentina has proven, especially in their last match against the Dutch, they have a really hard time finishing out a game.
Yeah.
One thing I want to bring up, they've let in 2 goals twice, 1 goal once, and have 2 clean sheets. This is Argentina.
Yep.
They have the ability, although, if we're being honest, one of the clean sheets was Mexico. which not very impressed by them this World Cup.
No.
And one of them was Poland, and Poland didn't need a win to go through. They didn't need a result. They went through just because they managed not to get beat by a lot. However, Croatia is now struggling to score. When they scored in the 116th minute, that was their first shot on target.
It wasn't even considered a big chance either.
Nope. No, that's a problem. I think right now Brazil had a better defense than Argentina does, so I expect Croatia to show up a bit more. I think I'm going to give the edge to Argentina for 2 reasons. One, and the first one is going to be me thinking I'm a soccer pundit, is I think Argentina has better youth. I think Julian Alvarez, he's been scoring goals. Lautaro Martinez, we're going to say his name right this time. He's got to turn it on at some point.
I would think
we talked about it in the recap of the quarterfinals. Maybe that penalty is what he needed. Emi Martinez can be a world beater on his best day.
Yep.
The second reason is because Messi.
Yep.
Which is just like the simplest thing to say, but it's the truth. Messi basically won that match against Mexico that they needed to win. And Messi's going to be that guy, much like the Tchouaméni goal in England-France. He can just do that. But I don't know. I'm excited. All I know is that I'm excited. 2 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, maybe even today, probably today by the time you guys are listening to this.
There are some players of note to be missing in this match, too, for Argentina. They're going to miss out on Marcos Acuna and Gonzalo Montiel. They had yellow card accumulation, so they might have a formation change. I'd said if I was the coach, I would drop Molina into the right back position, actually play Di Maria, go and attack and try to sneak a few goals in the first half. Try to really just cut out Croatia's late resurgence kind of deal.
Well, for what it is, Fatmob agrees with you. And probable lineup, Steve Maria is slotting in on the right.
I don't see anybody else really trying to take that position unless they decide to roll with that 3-5-3.
Yeah.
Again.
3-5-2.
But that's a possibility. Because if I was also Croatia, I'd want to also go out and attack real quick and see if I can sneak a goal in and just whittle away the game. And I think that's one way that Croatia could potentially win this game is if they go out and get a goal within 15, 20 minutes and then they just, what they did against Brazil, just get a bunch of fouls. But why I alluded to the ref is because he doesn't call a lot of fouls like Michael Oliver does. he tends to have more of an open play between teams here. So that might actually be a disadvantage for Croatia in this particular match. Also, Argentina doesn't foul a lot. I know there was a bunch of yellow cards, but let's throw out the fact that there was, a fight and the ref was terrible and all that other stuff. They still
coming off a match with 16 yellow cards.
They only committed 15 fouls, which is a low number to commit. So they're not going to. They're a disciplined team. They're not going to make you foul them.
Yep. No, I agree. I absolutely agree.
So go ahead.
I think the other thing that's going to play a part is minutes on legs.
Yep.
You look at, and I sent this to you earlier, the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players so far with minutes is all Croatian.
Yeah. Crazy. I mean, it's not that crazy to think because they did round of 16. They just came out of another one. If Croatia does happen to win, it's probably going to be an extra time, and then they're gonna go into the finals with rusty legs.
Yep. I mean, they have 8 of the top 20, it looks like, if I counted correctly. Argentina has 3. One is a center back. One is Leo Messi, who, as we know, is the king of walking and turning it on when he needs to, and then walking when he doesn't. I mean, everyone goes, oh, he walks. No, he doesn't waste energy. There's a difference.
Yeah, there's a total difference.
And the other one is the goalkeeper. So I think Argentina may have it just from that point of view. As the game goes on, they get more tired.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason why I say that is because I think that's why France beat Croatia 4 years ago. Croatia was too tired.
Yeah.
But now a lot of their guys have 4 more years on their legs.
Mm-hmm.
Modric is getting older.
Yep. Perisic, Lovren.
Yeah, Lovren he's tied with the most. 4 have the most.
Yeah.
It's Gvardiol, Juranovic, Livakovic, who's the goalie, and Brozovic.
Lovren was in the last World Cup too. I look back just to see who was in the same, pretty much all the same except for Rakitic, Gvardiol. Yep, Sosa. Their right back and their right winger. Everyone else has played, the last World Cup. So the only thing it could come down to is experience as well. Just having the mental tenacity to go through and be able to know when to turn it on and not switch off, but conserve.
Yeah. No, that's a very important distinction between switching off and not wasting energy.
Yeah.
All right. I know that you are going to have Argentina winning because you have Argentina winning it all. I want to know how you think the match is going to go. I got everything right last time.
Exactly. No, I can predict this. Hold on. I'm thinking Messi's probably going to get a free kick goal somewhere around the 25th minute. They're going to foul him around the 25 yards out, and he's just going to bang a left-footed shot far corner from a diving Lakovic. And I don't see Croatia scoring. I think it's just going to end up being a 2-0 defeat, and somebody else is going to pick a goal out, whether it's Fernandez or even Alvarez is going to put in a goal. So I could see a 2-0 defeat again.
I think what's going to happen is I think Croatia is going to get a quick goal. One of those Perisic headers off a switch and play. Luka Modric magic, one of those things, and I think they're going to shell up and park the bus, and I think that Argentina is going to be just too much class. They're not going to be able to hold it down. I think they're going to get one back, and then the game's going to open up. And once this game opens up, I think Argentina. That's when Argentina's are clearly favorites.
I mean, I don't disagree with that. It's a possibility that they'll score. I mean, I just don't see them scoring more than one if that's the case.
No, I don't think they're going to score more than one. I think they're going to get their one and then hold on.
Yeah.
And I don't think that that's going to be enough. I think you have to score more than once to beat this Argentina team.
I also think that if Croatia does win, it's because that there's a possibility that Argentina actually plays a little conservative because of how many yellows were handed out. And some of the players might play a little bit more softer because they don't want to pick up the yellow to be out in the final.
Well, yellow card accumulation gets wiped away.
Just kidding. Forget all the things I just said, people. It doesn't matter. They're going to come out hard and rip it 2-1 or 2-0.
After the quarterfinals.
Boom.
Resets. For anyone who is watching, there's a community poll up on YouTube where we want to know what your predicted matchup is going to be. Actually, I think I worded it as, what matchup do you want? Now, what's your predicted? What do you want? Do you want a repeat of 2018, Croatia, France again? You want Argentina, Morocco? So, either the underdog wins or Messi gets his. What do you want?
Oh, that'd be neat. I actually like that too, the Argentina, Morocco. But,
Well, speaking of France, Morocco, let's get into this.
Let's get into it.
The match that we all saw happening, and by we all, I mean Samuel Eto'o, who just made the worst picks of all time and somehow got this one right. So good for him. He had Qatar in the round of 16. Come on. Anyway, I think Morocco lines up better against France. I think Morocco is happy that France won that match. And the reason why is because when you look at how France beat England, it was an Olivier Giroud magnificent header.
Yep.
And he just beat John Stones. John Stones was in front of him. He just beat him. And a Tchouaméni wonder goal. And it was. And I'm not taking anything away from that goal. He kicked the ball, and it went into the net, and it was gorgeous. And if he took that shot 100 times, I think he misses 99. It was wonderful what he did. But it was perfect. It went in between a defender's legs. It was over 100 kilometers per hour. It was moving away from Pickford the entire time. It just you can't rely on that. That's not going to happen again. I mean, it could happen again. I'm not saying lightning can't strike twice, but that's what we're talking about. Meanwhile, I think England, especially with Saka, and we talked about this in the last one, but especially with Saka and Foden, and even Harry Kane, when Harry Kane dropped back into that kind of false nine position and was a facilitator, they have so many different ways to attack you.
Yep.
Henderson would bring the ball into the box. Bellingham would bring the ball into the box. They felt comfortable on defense. Maybe they shouldn't have, but they felt comfortable on defense against a French team that had Griezmann and Giroud and Mbappe and Dembele all attacking, with Walker, who played phenomenally.
Yeah, he did.
Maguire and Stones, Shaw, and Declan Rice. Morocco struggles to score. The only reason why they're here is a very, very important reason. We have a saying in America that defense wins championships. And Morocco have only given up one goal.
It's real now. You can't say that it's not.
Oh, yeah. No, they deserve it. I am not saying they're lucky to be here. They absolutely deserve to be here.
Yeah.
I think they have a better chance of shutting down France than they would England.
I think they have a better chance of scoring 2 goals in this match because they dominate the midfield, and their transition play and their counter press is really, really good. And you had pointed it out before. It's something of, like you had said, they're just in sync. and they know where everyone's going to be.
They're a unit. They never let an opening. They move as one. It's really it's almost like synchronized swimming from the top down. The way they move as one.
Yeah.
And whenever anyone does do a pressing trigger, someone else is filling in. It's incredible the way they are. And I think Hakimi, and again, I understand everyone says it's not about the right back. It's not just about the right back. But, Kyle Walker was saying, I don't just have to defend against Mbappe. But there was that one play when Mbappe burned him, as I think it was Taylor Twellman, but whoever it was on Fox Sports says that he burned him on the left side. Did he get around him? Yes. Did he do anything with the ball? Absolutely not, because Kyle Walker was in between where he wanted to be with the ball the entire time. I'm going to let you run in a circle, dude. And yeah, you're faster than me. I used to do this all the time. I was never the fastest guy on the pitch, but you always make sure that you put yourself where he wants the ball to go. You slow him down with your body until you can't anymore, but at that point, you've pushed him far enough wide that you then set yourself up for that pass back along the 6-yard box, which is exactly where Walker was. Nothing happened. Everyone, oh my God, Mbappe almost did the thing. I think Hakimi can do the same thing. I think Kyle Walker's proved it, but I think Hakimi can shut down Mbappe. And then if you hold him and you hold Griezmann, and then here's the big if you keep the Olivier Giroud headers down.
Yeah.
Which I don't know, man. He looks like a machine right now.
He's so good. He operates in that same area that Haaland does, and it's within that 6-yard, within that penalty area, and he always puts a shot on goal. It's incredible. The guy's just got a knack for goal.
His ability to always head it on goal. I think he does that better than anyone.
Yeah.
Like Haaland, obviously right now, Haaland's a better player. And right now in his prime, I think Haaland is a better player than Giroud ever was. He's more rounded. But Haaland will always go for the corner and sometimes miss. Giroud plays up that ball and says, you have to save it, which then leads to rebounds.
Yep.
And if you got Dembele coming in right behind him, or Griezmann coming in right behind him, or Mbappe, and this is the one thing, I brought this up in the England-France match, the difference between Mbappe and Kane, they were both facilitating very similarly, but Mbappe always made the second run. After the pass, he always made the second overlapping run. He always crashed the box. He always did all those things that you're supposed to do.
Yep.
So now you got a guy who's always going to put the ball on goal. Morocco's goalkeeper, it's Bonu, if we're saying that correctly. He's fantastic, but now he's going to have to save all these shots and hope to God that you don't get these rebounds that just fall to this in-between area where everyone shuffles for it, and next thing you know, the ball's in the net. I don't know. I could very much see this match going to where Morocco frustrates France to the point where France starts committing guys forward, and then they catch them on the break. Because I think France is going to become frustrated. That we've seen this before. We've seen this with a lot of very good teams. This is what Morocco does.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I do not like when it comes to Morocco's chances, Khedira is out. Saiss is doubtful. Mazraoui is doubtful. Guerd is doubtful. Ziyech, heard it both ways, is doubtful. Sabiri is doubtful. Injured and suspended French players.
Nothing. I think
they're set up really well.
Well, when we had seen John Stones also come up on that doubtful list, it's too early to tell right now. They're going to wait until the last minute to decide on whether or not they're going to can play. Yeah, Sassy came off of the stretcher, but he's really vying for some sort of playing time. He's trying to push for making the start. I wouldn't doubt the same for Ziyech and the rest of these guys, except for Khedira, because he's got a red card, so there's nothing he can do about that.
Yeah, he's definitely out. For me, it's a numbers game, though. Like, when you have that many guys that are doubtful, some of them are going to miss.
Yeah.
One thing I do like is, as much as I loved Mazraoui, Atiat Allah was wonderful against Portugal.
Yep.
He had that assist on the Nesri header. I mean, and talk about perfect placement of the ball. No one else was going to get there.
No. I had said Diego Costa has one mess up in him, and that was it right there. He's always got a mess up.
Yep. I don't know. I conventional wisdom, again, we talked about this last time we did a prediction spot. Conventional wisdom says France.
Yeah.
And France has looked much like Brazil did for a long time. France has looked the best at breaking a team down and getting good shots on goal. And I think that was one of the things that Brazil, like, Spain will break it down. England was breaking you down. There were times where the U.S. was breaking you down. They just didn't have anyone to actually finish.
Yep.
France has the best finisher right now in the tournament. And I don't mean like the best finisher in Europe right now. I mean like right for these 4-6 weeks around Christmas, Olivier Giroud is the best finisher. He's finishing everything. And I think that's going to be the one step too far. I think we're not getting a repeat of 2018. I think we're getting France and Argentina.
Probably.
And that's going to be fireworks.
It's definitely a game you're not going to want to miss. I don't think – I mean, it's the World Cup final. You're not going to want to miss it anyway. But we're all definitely going to be more fascinated at the fact if it's France versus Argentina than kind of any other matchup, personally.
I don't know. I see what you're saying, but if Morocco stops France, if Morocco holds France scoreless, I don't see how they don't also hold Argentina scoreless. If you're good enough to hold France scoreless, like look at who they've done. All right. They did it against let me look it up real quick. I want to get this right. They held Spain scoreless. They held Belgium scoreless. They've held Croatia scoreless. The one goal they gave up was against Canada. And if I remember correctly, that was almost like a garbage time type deal.
No, it was the first.
The group was set. It was the final match of the group stage. It was an own goal in the 40th minute.
So they haven't given up any.
They have not been scored on except by themselves.
Yes.
So they did it against all, and you look at it and you're like, all right, well, Croatia was struggling to score. That's fine. Belgium didn't show up, you know. Well, it was no goal against Canada. Canada put pressure on people. I know I was down on Canada. Canada looked good. They put pressure on people, right? So then you're making up all these, excuses as to how Morocco's doing this. And then they get Spain in the round of 16, and you're like, well, we were talking about how Spain's going to struggle to score, and yeah, they had the Costa Rica match, but after that, and then they had a Portuguese team that I thought was very well put together. My only problem with that match was you put on Ronaldo too early. If you should have at all. I mean, you made the point. It was one of the shorts that we floated. Don't start Ronaldo.
Yep.
And he came on in like the 50th minute.
And then it was a dumpster fire from there.
If they can then hold France scoreless, now no one scores. People are talking about Japan change tournament football. If Morocco finds a way with their guys, they're talented guys, but if they find a way with their guys to hold France scoreless and then have Argentina or Croatia in the finals, if it's Croatia, it's over.
Yeah,
I really think if it's Croatia, Morocco wins.
Yeah, oh God, yeah.
If they hold France scoreless and then they hold Argentina scoreless, that will be the biggest change in tournament football you've ever seen. You're going to see FA games played the way that Morocco's playing right now. It's going to be that big.
Yeah.
The way they play as a unit, like you said, they change things up. They do transitional play. They play wonderful chaos on attacking football, and they play pure discipline on defense. I don't know.
This head coach this head coach deserves some sort of domestic call. I don't know what he does, but he needs a bonus, a raise, and a new location to coach for.
Yeah, let's look it up real quick. Who does he?
I haven't got the slightest clue.
Walid Regraoui. He is Moroccan. Makes sense. Yep. He coached Casablanca for
the movie?
No. Wydad Casablanca. He coached it for a couple months, and before that, he coached Al Duhal SC for a couple months.
Well,
for that, Fath Union Sport de Rabat. When I click on it, brings me to a 404 error on Fatma.
Excuse me.
His senior, I don't recognize a single one of these teams. His senior career, he started playing in August of 1999. Oh, there we go. I recognize that. Toulouse. Apart from that, AC Ajaccio? Depends if it's French or Italian.
French.
Racing Santander. I'm pretty sure that was a F1 team. Dijon. So he did mustard for a while. Racing Santander again. He does like racing.
Spain, by the way.
And then Football Club Fleury 91. Marc-Andre Fleury has a football. That's really cool. I don't know who this guy is, but if he's actually this good, and he seems to be this good, I think he's already proven he is this good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would love to break down, like, what else is going on? Did he surround himself with the right people? Or is it him? Yeah. Or does he just have an assistant coach who's like, I have this idea, and he's Nate the Grading it from Ted Lasso, and I don't know. I have no idea what's going on in Morocco. All I know is I love it.
I could see him getting a job at like Tayanzaspor or some Turkish team.
If this guy takes Morocco, even now, I think he can get almost any job he wants. If he takes Morocco to the finals, he can get almost any job at like the Big Ten.
You hear that, Barcelona?
He wins the finals with Morocco, I think he could. Yeah, he could do I think he could do anything. Like, honestly, the next time a oil nation buys a country, buys a team, he'll be right there.
Man United.
Yeah, honestly, of course, Eric Ten Hag's actually doing something. They're smart enough to let him do it.
Forgot about that.
But I mean, seriously, like, if Brighton was smart,
I actually like Roberto D.
If Conte decides to finally just peace out of Tottenham, which I don't think he's going to, because, again, everyone's so upset because of where Tottenham is in the table in relation to Arsenal, and they keep forgetting that Tottenham's actually having a very good season.
Yeah.
You don't like to watch the football, and I don't blame you, because it's not fun football to watch, but they're having a very good season. So it's not like Conte needs to go anywhere. He just got him on a very good season the same time Mikel Arteta got Arsenal on a good season.
Yeah.
If Pep decides to walk away, if they decide that they don't like Xavi at Barcelona, you really got to consider, this guy does this with Morocco, you really got to consider, where do you want him? Again, if it's actually him. And who knows if it is.
Well, if it isn't, if I was that coach, I definitely would bring all the coaching staff that I just had for that.
Yep. Hopefully he's smart enough to surround himself with smart people. I think he is. Hopefully smart enough to keep him. If you guys are listening on Spotify, first of all, thank you very much for listening, especially if you made it this far. There is a poll set up in Spotify where we're asking how many predictions you got right in the quarterfinals. I know I had one, and even then, I don't even think I had it for the right reasons, but it counts. So 1 for 4. Also, if you guys could give us a rating on Spotify or on Apple Music, that would be a huge help. Anything like that absolutely helps. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, like the video, hit that notification bell, all those wonderful things you hear everyone else say. It does really help. It drives people to the channel. We show up and everyone's recommended. If you like what we're talking about, that can be, a big help. So How do you think this match is going to go? Now that I'm done with my spiel, France Morocco. What do you think happens?
Well, I'm riding the Cinderella. Give me the shoes. It's Morocco. I think it's going to be 2-2 PKs. Morocco wins.
Ooh. I don't know if anything can happen with PKs. We've seen this plenty of times. Anything can happen. I mean, there was a lot of people on the English team I liked. However, if England failed to go through because Harry Kane sent a ball to the moon, you know that makes me happy. But you know no one expected that.
No, God, no.
No one expected Brazil to have the issue they did. No one expected Spain to not even get one.
Yep.
We've said it all tournament. We've said it in the preparation. We've said it in the group stages. We've said it when teams didn't do well after match day 1, and we said, but we've said it about Argentina a bunch. I think if it gets to PKs, France has too much class. I really have a hard time imagining that Griezmann and Mbappe and Giroud and Dembele and all these guys don't score. I trust them to put the ball on net. I also trust Hugo Lloris. I know Bono. I don't know how to say his name. I'm very sorry. I think it is Bono. And for everyone who's like, well, why are you struggling? We watch Fox Sports over here because we're Americans and that's what we get. I do not trust them to say the names correctly. I have heard Qatar. I have heard Qatar. I have heard everything from them. I don't trust them. So anyway, I think the Cinderella story stops. I know I said this last week. I think France is just that much better of a team. You look at the chances that Portugal had that they didn't finish. I think France does finish them. I think they score early. I think that opens it up. And I'm a little afraid that once this Moroccan team gets opened up, that's it.
Yeah, we haven't really seen them actually
be broken down. So never been
that will be an interesting.
It screws with you. That if they let in a goal under 10 minutes, they're going to feel like they lost the game, probably. I know I would. They've never been down in the World Cup. Not here, not this World Cup.
No.
And then you're just thinking about, well, someone, Mbappe or Griezmann or Giroud or someone already got us once. And now we have to score twice. Yeah. And we have to stop them from doing it again, which means they can't sit back.
I was going to say, that's the other thing too. Now they're becoming more predictable about how they plan on attacking too. They'll lose the allure of the mystery.
I think 3-0 France, because once France scores, I think it opens up.
Avalanche.
I think Morocco can't hold. Yeah. However, you can't predict this match. And that's what I'm going to put out because people love predictions, and that's what I'm going to say. And I think that that's the most likely outcome. However, it's like 55-45. I could totally see Morocco just locking us down. And, France can't do anything, and Morocco gets another Nesri header or something like that. PK.
Yeah.
France gets desperate, and then I can see both happening, but my gut says France, and I think it's going to be France-Argentina in the finals.
Well, I'd be right then in my prediction.
You would be right. I'm saying that now, knowing that if that's true, I lose our prediction battle. That would be me winning. I think you've won anyway. I didn't have France this far. I didn't have Argentina. I had Argentina in the semis, but I didn't have France this far. I didn't have Croatia this far.
No, I didn't either. I didn't even have making it, so that doesn't even matter.
I think you've already won that, but yeah, no, I think that's what happens. I think that's how this goes down. All right. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, I'm good.
All right.
It's pumpkin time.
Yeah, that's plug-in time is what it is, and that's editing time. So plug-in time. We are Swinging at Shins. You can find us on Spotify, on Apple Music. If there's somewhere else that you want us to be, I have the ability to put us on a couple different places. So let me know. If you are on any of those, please give us a rating if you can. We are on YouTube, Swinging at Shins. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram. We are on TikTok. On top of all of that, we are under the umbrella of Wicked Good Sports. So that does the Villa with this guy. And for those who aren't paying attention, this guy is actually me pointing at the camera. Or if you're just listening, Aaron covers Austin Villa. Doesn't look like João Felix actually wants to go there, bud.
Shut up, man.
I trust Ornstein over Marca. And last thing Ornstein said was that his agent was pushing for it. So who knows? I cover Arsenal with the Way West Stand. I cover the Red Sox sometimes with Around the Diamond. Life got busy in the summer, and now it's the off season. We got the Dolphins with the Miami Minute. We got the Saints with the Bayou Breakdown. We got the Celtics with At the Buzzer. We got the Bruins with Power Play. Chris Uminski does a great job. Jack Tiernan does a great job. Ryan Flynn does a great job. And Brian Marr, who's the guy who put this all together, does a great job. Go ahead. Follow those guys. They are on Spotify. They're on Apple Music. They're on YouTube. They're on Facebook. They're on Instagram. They're on everything. I think that's it. I went about it slightly differently than I normally do. And I got all screwed up, but I think I covered everything.
No, wrong.
I didn't cover everything. Sorry. It's a good thing I'm wearing a jersey today. If you are in the capital region and you like Arsenal, I am running with the help of some friends, the unofficial, hopefully soon to be official, Arsenal Gooners, or Albany Gooners, sorry. Albany Gooners, we meet and watch all the matches at the Beer Garden. If you are in the capital region of New York and you want to watch you want a place with which to watch soccer, go to Wolf's Beer Garden. Any of the places. Syracuse, if you're all the way out there, Schenectady, Albany. Albany is where we're always at. Fantastic place to watch soccer. If you are going to the semifinals of the World Cup or the finals of the World Cup, show up early. It's going to get packed.
Yep.
All right. Now I think that's everything.
I think now we can all go to bed or wake up and drink coffee. I don't know what time you listen to this.
That is true. You guys can get psyched because it'll probably be in the morning when you watch this. I am going to edit it, so maybe you do get to watch it tonight. Everybody, thank you very much for listening. Have a good night.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys for watching. We really appreciate you guys hanging around here with us. If you enjoyed these clips, go check us out on Wicked Good Sports, where we have all kinds of soccer coverage, as well as our main podcast here, Swinging at Shins. You can find the links in the description below.